Hey guys, Drew here from swingtradingbootcamp.com. Today is Sunday, January 20th, 2013. We are sitting in front of our charting software getting ready for the week ahead, doing a little bit of research. So we thought we would shoot this video to give you kind of a heads up on what we think the market is doing, go over what happened last week, and hopefully it prepares you for the week ahead. The chart we have up here is the chart of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and as you can see from our nicely drawn horizontal line here, we're coming up to that level that we talked about in last week's video. We did get a continuation move obviously last week, pushing the S&P to new 5-year highs and the Dow to a new closing high, but you can see that we've kind of crept right up to this level that we've been kind of cautious of. With that being said, let's look over at the spiders, and you can see a little bit different story here. We actually got the breakout starting on Wednesday. The volume came in and pushed the market to new highs there, and if we look over at the NASDAQ, you'll see a different picture. We're still hanging around in this kind of lateral movement sideways pattern, way off from that October 5th point that we had marked for the Dow and the S&P. NASDAQ's definitely a little bit weaker, plenty of stocks to trade though, but the S&P and the Dow definitely where it's at as far as the indice strength. Let's go ahead and go over some of the individual sectors that we've been watching. In last week's video also we showed you the 3 sectors that we thought were really leading the market. The broker-dealer index, the IAI, definitely broke out to new highs here, just continues to rock and roll. Had a couple stocks in that sector acting really nicely for some good trades last week as well. The IYF, the financial sector, kind of putting in a little bit of a sideways pattern here for most of the week. Didn't really get the follow through that the S&P did or the broker-dealer index, creeping higher nonetheless, so definitely something to keep on your radar as we move into next week. Home builders, kind of a sideways pattern also, and then Thursday you see the big jump in volume, push to new highs on the breakout. See if we can get a continuation here as the market starts to lift higher as well. The one sector that we did mention last week that we were watching, even though the NASDAQ and the tech sector has been relatively weak, the semiconductors were acting very strong, and we mentioned in last week's video that this breakout that we saw here to new highs was something that you need to watch. And last week we got the gap down here. That's the day that the market gapped down as well, and then you see volume just came back in, pushing it to new highs. So definitely a sector on our watch list. We actually have, and we'll go through a little bit later in the video, some of the stocks that we were watching and put in some continuation patterns, and actually one that made a new trade, a new profitable trade for us as well. The retail sector, again, in last week's video, we were looking at this pattern. We know that we see all this overhead resistance up here, but a nice move in the retail sector. Something to watch because we're coming into this overhead resistance. The market's a little bit extended. What we're going to do is look for the stalling pattern, a possible retrace, and then we'll see if we can get a sign of a continuation move higher, so we feel a little more comfortable getting long in the retail sector after we see its first retrace. The energy sector was another one, bouncing up past, you can see we put in this nice horizontal line here as well. Starting on Tuesday, energy sector took off, pushing it to new highs, just like the overall market. As we go into next week, these are definitely the sectors that we're going to focus on. And the thing that we really want to see though is the Dow participating in the rally with the S&P. If we see a stalling pattern in the Dow, and if we see that the NASDAQ is not going to cooperate just yet, it might be a good chance for you to kind of sit on the sidelines and wait for the first retrace in the market and then reevaluate. So now let's talk about some of the individual stocks that we were looking at that made some nice moves this week. Goldman Sachs taking off again on the expensive side, but a nice a pattern there that you could have traded at the end of last week, and you got your continuation move this week. Morgan Stanley, again staying in the financial broker-dealer sector, you're getting the same type of pattern. Buying here, sideways consolidation, no need to exit the stock, not even any signs of a retrace, volume is dying off there. But then if you wanted a second chance buy, you could have got it on Tuesday, and then luckily you get a nice gap up here on Friday. Definitely out of the stock if you're a short-term trader, and if not, you might want to hold it and see how it does on its next retrace. But definitely these are the stocks that we're going to be watching as we go into next week. T. Rowe Price also on our list. Nice little buy here. Sideways consolidation, then a continuation move to the upside as well. MSI, nice volume breakout here, definitely on our chart. Sideways consolidation, and then at the end of last week we started to get another breakout on volume, entering into a long position, and then the continuation move once it hit our profit target. Now the semiconductor sector that we talked about last week, definitely on our radar. AMAT, Applied Materials, the buy was here, but a lot of these, as you can see as we go through them, have what we call second chance patterns. So they show you a sign of a breakout, and then they kind of stall or go sideways in more of a lateral formation, and that gives you an opportunity, if you're in tune with the market and in tune with the sectors, it gives you a second chance to actually enter into a long. If you missed the ideal entry there, you could have come back and you could have entered somewhere in here, putting your stop at the low of the sideways consolidation pattern here. Now, one trade that we did want to show you in the semiconductor area was the trade that we made this week in TXN. Last week you can see that we had the nice breakout in TXN, but then price kind of stalled here at the end of last week, and then Monday and Tuesday got the same pullback as the market. Not a big pullback, not a big retrace. Volume was dying off, but we waited for another chance to get long in TXN because it was so strong, and that happened on Wednesday near the close of the day. We actually got in at 32.51, and what we did is we set our stop loss 2 cents below the low of Tuesday's low, which was 31.97. minus 2 cents is 31.95. Again, we got in at 32.51, and our profit target is just about 10 cents higher than it is now at 33.63. So hopefully we'll get a nice continuation move here in TXN as well. The other sector that we were watching was the energy sector. Since it was showing signs of breaking out to a new high, you can see some of the stocks on our list. Halliburton, and you can see breaking out on Friday to new highs. But SLB was one that was on our list. SLB was one that was on our list for this 2-day pullback here. Nice opportunity to get long, and then a nice continuation move both Thursday and Friday actually on the breakout. So with all that being said, there's a ton of stocks. Actually, I could sit here for probably hours and show you some of the stocks that have made new highs with the market. It's just an absolute strong 2-3 week period here in the market. But that leads us to the question of next week. As we go into next week, what are we actually looking for? What are we looking to do? And as always, we're just watching to see what the market does from here. We want to see the NASDAQ participate. We want to see the Dow break through that pattern, break through its highs with some conviction there. But as far as the individual stocks or ETFs go, I mean, we can't really chase the market here. We can't really buy a pattern like this that's so extended that we're looking for a long entry. So without a retrace happening, it might be a very slow week for us. If we continue to just go higher from here, if the S&P and the Dow just continue to rise, we're going to hold on to our long positions, and hopefully they'll hit our profit targets like you saw in TXN there. We need about 10 more cents, and we have some other trades on that hopefully will push higher if the market continues. If the market starts to stall, we're just going to continue to watch these strong stocks, especially the ones that are in these transitionary sectors like the retail sector. XLE is breaking out, so we're going to watch these sectors and the individual stocks within these sectors for retraces, for pullbacks, and then we're going to evaluate what the market does and look for the next opportunity to get long. Definitely not looking to short, even knowing that a retrace cannot be that far away, we're not going to obviously jump into an extremely strong market and start to short. So with that being said, we hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next week.